What if just stepping outside could turn your worst fears into reality? That's the daily challenge I face with agoraphobia. This condition is more than just a fear of the outside or crowds. It's a deep-seated fear of fear itself. Panic attacks are an overwhelming rush of fear that you just can't escape, triggered by everyday situations that might be trivial to others. These attacks can manifest as an intense fear of dying, losing consciousness, or losing control over your body. It's whatever you fear most, and the panic convinces you that this terrifying scenario is about to happen. Unlike occasional panic attacks that others might dismiss as isolated incidents, I face this terrifying reality frequently, especially when I try to leave my house. This fear causes me to struggle driving a few minutes away from my home or taking my dog on a walk. It's like there's an invisible wall around my house and I can't go past that wall or else all my worst fears will come true. This leaves me with a very limited life, not being able to do anything outside my home. And if agoraphobia is left untreated, sometimes these walls can start to shrink. You might think, well, at least you're safe inside your house and you can have a good time inside your house, but I get the lucky add-on of still sometimes having random panic attacks inside my house, inside my safe space. From a logical standpoint, if I have panic attacks in my house, why should I be afraid to go anywhere? I panic inside and outside of my house, so what's the difference? I should be able to go anywhere because I'll panic anywhere regardless. These things just tend not to work logically at all, and I often refer to this part as my anxious part of myself and my anxiety brain. This anxiety brain does not like to listen to logic. It just tries to keep you away from fear because you are scared, and it keeps me inside even though I have panic attacks. I have a better chance inside than out there. It's frustrating when you know how a panic attack works logically because you've had so many of them. But in the moment of panic, all logic just gets tossed out the window and your main goal is to survive. That, most of the time for me, is driving home as fast as possible or collapsing on the floor because I'm so dizzy. Aggravating looking online and seeing people making connections and doing what you want to do, but you're just limited to the confines of your home. Good news is there is a way to get over this disorder, but it's not the easiest way. Medication and cognitive behavioral therapy are very important. I believe the most important thing is exposure therapy or ERP. Exposure therapy is simply facing your fears in slow but manageable increments. While that may sound easy, it's a lot harder than it looks, but it does get easier the more you do it. So currently I'm in a treatment program and I'm working on my agoraphobia for around 6 hours a day, minus breaks of course. This includes driving till my anxiety is around a 5 out of 7, sometimes higher, sometimes lower. Doing interoceptive exposures they're called interoceptive exposures, and those are like spinning in a chair for 30 seconds or hyperventilating for a minute to bring on these near panic sensations. There are many other things in there, but I just want to get into the meat potatoes of the treatment. I've had many different forms of therapy over my years, but this intensive program, even though it's virtual, it has been working for me a lot better than normal therapy has, just because it's so much longer. But different things do work for different people. The days are not easy. I am dreading tomorrow for the program to start again. Some days a bit harder than others, but yeah, I am slowly making progress. I have to drive 5 times a day on the same route to allow my body to realize, okay, maybe I am safe driving this far, or maybe what I feared isn't gonna happen. And then we slightly push the goalpost a bit further until I'm driving further and further. This has gotten me to triple my driving length by myself. There's still a ton of work to do because I'm still only driving probably 3 minutes away, but the drives are getting better. And I don't feel perfectly fine during these drives, but the more I confront the feared situation, the easier it gets. I was just able to go to Starbucks with my brother, and I'm gonna be honest, I haven't sat down inside of an actual location in a year. It's been a long time. So I have some insights and tips for those struggling in similar situations, because I've been struggling with this for so long, so I think I learned some things. I don't know. So the first one is to challenge thoughts and figure out things for yourself. This is taught a lot in my new program, but instead of predicting what will happen in a certain outcome, try your best to push yourself to find out for yourself and see if reality matches your imagination. A big thing is we have to remember that we can't see our future, and all this fortune telling and this perceived reality will never be the same as our actual reality. The second one's a big one, and that's being compassionate towards yourself. I work so hard, yet I don't give myself any props or compliments for achieving major goals. I'm just really hard on myself. So try to allow yourself to enjoy those victories no matter how small. Try your best not to discount the positive by thinking of what you have to do in the future, but rather focus on the now and focus on what you accomplished right now. The way I kind of treat myself is I usually try to order food on Fridays or the weekend to reward myself for getting through a week of treatment. Number 3 is accepting that everyone progresses at their own speeds. Take it from me, I've dealt with this for a majority of my life, probably about 10 years, and it doesn't matter how it sucks, but it doesn't matter how fast you progress as long as you're moving forward. And that leads me right into my next point. Progress is not linear at all. We can have setbacks, but when we hop back on that horse, what happens is we get to our previous location a lot quicker. Although setbacks can be frustrating, especially when we can't do something that we used to do. Just try your best to be compassionate with yourself and get back on that horse. Last point is a big one, is to make sure not just to suffer in silence. Reach out for help. It can be really hard to get help sometimes, and it can be frustrating due to so many different factors. My best advice is to either call your insurance. There's going to be a number on the back of the card. It says mental health services. And you can request a list of therapists, teletherapy or whatever you need, or psychiatrists as well, through there, or go to psychologytoday.com to find one as well. There are also therapy apps that you can try if you want, but I don't have enough information to give on good ones. I've learned so much in early age that I'll carry into my later years. We all experience many ups and downs, but it's important to remember to just try our best. Let's try to celebrate our victories and learn from our setbacks with compassion. Remember, every step taken, no matter how small, step towards regaining your freedom and shedding your mental burdens. Good night, everybody.